just here at my parents' place, and finally after 3 years I get to cut down the last few branches of that stinking olive tree. You would not believe how wide it was. That's a 3-year effort of packing stuff into the vegetation bin every fortnight and then coming to pick it up, and I'm down to the last couple of branches. The problem is I wasn't only cutting that. Now that my parents are very old, I pretty much have to maintain this backyard every single day, otherwise it will get like this here, and you can see all the grass growing here as well in this little, what used to be a veggie patch. So I've actually pulled a whole bunch of corrugated iron down, ripped down a lot of chicken wire fences all around the joint. There was a huge bailiff tree in the corner there that just made so much mess. The leaves on the bottom of that were just so deep you couldn't even walk up in there. You got bitten by so many mosquitoes. A helicopter flying above, and it's sad to see how barren this place is. This was one of the best vegetable fruit gardens, I would say, in the 70s, 80s and 90s in Manly Vale. You had peppers, you had corn, you had carrots, you had tomatoes, you had cucumbers over this thing. You've got a fig tree here. You had 6 or 7 different type of plum trees there. That's an old plum tree there. We had a mandarin tree there, orange tree there, lemon tree there. And what else? We just had everything. Dad had a few, 3 or 4 beehives there. And those sheds at the back there are 50 years old. Down in the bottom there, I'll cruise you down on through. This concrete foundation here used to be my pigeon cage, and I used to keep tumblers and Birmingham rollers, and what they are is when you let them out and they fly up in the sky, they actually tumble down. So they'll go up really high and it looks like that someone shot them and they're spinning down to the ground, and then once they get near to the ground they'll shoot back up again and cruise on up. I used to have this one beautiful little female that I used to get my dad to hold it here, and I used to wear a brown jacket and I used to stand over here, and as soon as I put my arms out like to the side of me, it would actually flip around a couple times here and come and land on me, and I would feed it over here. So that used to be my old pigeon cage there. Nothing left of that. This cage here used to be for racing pigeons. My dad had a lot of racing pigeons, so we used to open the door here. There's the door there. And then they used to come in by themselves through this little ledge. And they used to pop back in again. Around the back here we used to have chickens. And they used to come in, we used to have a little slot cut behind the corrugated iron there, and they used to come down here and they used to feed all through here. They used to walk along the fence line there. You can see how big the grass is, so that's another task I have to get to. It's just never ending. You never think when you're young that your parents are going to get old and all this is left to you. So this is virtually my life at the moment. All this has been my doing over the last couple of years, just putting corrugated iron down over the soil so I don't have to consistently weed and pull everything up. This bit up here took me about 3 or 4 hours. This was like a jungle here, and honestly if I didn't keep tabs on this place every week, it would just turn, Mother Nature would just claim it, and just everything would be growing and it'd be out of control. And over here we had budgies and canaries and zebra finches and red-brow finches, and we had quails down here. Over here we had a cage, we had turkeys and guinea fowl. What else? This contraption up here that my dad's built. I've got heaps of crested pigeons coming now. My dad's feeding all the crested pigeons. This contraption here used to house grapes, and the grapes just used to hang down. We used to eat them as a kid. We used to have a passion fruit vine growing along here. We used to have strawberries in the corner there. If you would see some of the pictures of the colours that this backyard had when my parents were still able to do things, it's just incredible. So it's very sad to see it as it is. So this is what we've got left. This is another one of my pigeon cages from back in the day. This is what's left. So this is where we keep 4 chickens now. We actually lost all our chickens about 3 or 4 years ago. A fox managed to get in and killed them all whilst my dad was in hospital one year. So this is where they sleep in there, and they come out here and graze. Got a little egg hole here. And if we lift this up, there should be some eggs in there. I'm not quite sure if you can see them. There we go. We got 3 free-range eggs. Leave them there. I'm going to close this. Hey, get out of there. She might be going in to lay another one. That was our original chicken cage when I was young, and then they used to lay over here. So this used to be our egg boxes back in the day when I was young. These lasted for a long time. But once again, with that fox getting in, we tried to secure them just in a small cage now. I've got the bush saw here, and I'm just waiting for my kid to come around. He said he'll come around for lunch today. It'll be the first time I see him in quite some time. And this is just out of control. I don't know if you can see down here. See all these little olives that fall down. Now with my dad being very old and the cockatoos getting up here, these are all over the ground. I swept them up the other day, and my dad has nearly fallen over a few times. And the root system of this tree is actually pulling up all the concrete and everything. There was another tree back in the day. I've got a picture of myself sitting high above in a tree from back in the 80s, because my pigeons used to have planks of wood up there that I built where my pigeons used to sit up there when they came back in from flying and tumbling, and then they would fly down. I had a little ledge here, and they would actually just slot back down into here. So these are all remnants of a bygone era, and this is eventually all going to come down. So it's rather sad to see. So I'll hop up on that tree. Hopefully the plan is for that thick branch there to fall down onto this corrugated iron. All these other branches that were over here, I had to get a rope on them and have my son standing here and pull them this way so I didn't fall into the neighbour's yard. A couple fell onto the roof over there. So it's a never-ending task of cutting things down, but I'll be glad to see the back of this shit. This has given me so much grief. Unbelievable how big it was. I can't believe my dad let it get to that size. But when you get old and you can hardly move anymore, there's not much you can do. Pretty much left to your siblings. Alright, I'll wait for my son to turn up, and then I'll hop up there and see if we can get those last few branches down. Okay, my kid has just turned up. I've got the saw here. I actually forgot to mention too, up in this section here, we had various amount of different pheasants, ringneck pheasants, Lady Amherst pheasants. We had so much poultry and birds back in the day. It was just incredible. I would love to have had a video camera back in the 80s to actually film all this, but I've only got pictures. Slow. My kids just turned up finally after a while. Now if you want to hold it here, Bren, you got to hold it to the side. Be careful, yeah. All right, and maybe walk up to the tap here, and I'll climb up and I'll try to cut 2 of these branches.
I'm asking, when are you going to eat?
I'm not going to eat. Brandon's going to eat. So. She can start making that if she likes, if she's got some leftovers. So.
I want to warm it up.
Yeah, that's good. Good. I just be careful, yeah? Because I'm hoping it's going to fall down there.
Yep.
But you never know, these things can go wrong. I left this branch to the very end so I can still hold it. Actually, it should fall straight down there in between that, the fork of that old plum tree. Let's just hope that's the case. Starting to crack. Alright, just hang on a sec, I've got to cut this little... Oh, I suppose I can get down there. Okay, we're in business. This one's huge.
Watch the pole.
Alright. We're in business. And that should hopefully mean no more olives for anyone to slide on down. Over the coming weeks, I'll cut down those two big thick pieces and chop them up, but it's gone. Adios. Just tidied up a little bit of this olive tree that was scattered all over here. So that will probably take maybe a month to cut that down and put it in the vegetation bin. And this is what's left. So I'll probably hit this thick branch here one week and this other one some other week and just keep it as a stump, and then eventually I might just cut it further down and down and down. But that's a load off my mind. The amount of mess that was created down here in that concrete bit that was pulling up was terrible. So very happy to have that now gone. Now I can concentrate. In that bottom corner there just looks like a jungle where the fig trees, heaps of weeds down there as well. So okay, that'll do us for today. Go in, have a bit of a rest.